pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. So it's actually hard with these headphones because I can hear myself talk after I talk. So,
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Did you call me?
Stand by. All right, so we don't have the Board of Health coming in soon.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to do the second one first, update on dual stream recycling. We did issue or mail out to every household the new dual stream regulations and when they're going into effect. I believe Kathy has been receiving multiple phone calls regarding for clarification of some of the issues that are going on. Right now, what we are planning on doing is, even though the MRF starts dual stream as of July 1, starting June 1st, Waste Management will be picking up dual stream. They will pick whatever is out there because we're still going bringing it to the single stream site for drop off. On the week of June 15th, 2 weeks later, they will still pick it up and then leave a note if it's commingled. And then if it occurs on July 1, they will leave a note saying they will not pick it up and leave it there. People will have a month to try and work this through. Hopefully everything's going to go fine, because if we start having contaminated loads, then what will happen is we have to pay $300 a load for them to process it as of July 1, which is not a very good idea at this point. It will become very expensive for us. Regarding the budget, I did put out a letter to all the department heads with two scenarios for FY21. One is doing a 2% reduction off of their FY20 budget. And then there was a second one, which was more draconian, which was a 5% reduction from FY20 budget. Still waiting for a lot of them to come in. There are very difficult cuts for people to try and make, but I need to have some sort of a starting point. I do know the schools, Cheryl Stanton had a concern with doing that because for FY21, with a new program that was being offered to the state, the school budget was going up 200 some odd thousand. She feels that she should still get that. I'm saying I don't have anything from the state that's telling me that net school spending is not going to be reduced at this point in time. So my answer is I'd rather start out at a lower level, and then if the money comes in, then we turn around and do a supplemental budget based upon whatever the state's final numbers are. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say on the budget at this point.
I'll look at Mark, departmental reports.
So you had a chance to look at all of them? Have you had a chance to look at the one that Kathy sent today?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, I will make a motion to approve departmental budget. Reports.
Jay, did you get a chance to look at everything?
What was that?
Did you get a chance to look at all the departmental reports?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't hear you say it. It's kind of muffled when you're in the mask.
Any questions, concerns, comments?
No, I don't have any comments on the Department of Budgets. The only thing that I noticed that the police now are, what do you want to call them, the agents of the Board of Health?
Yes. Is there a motion? to accept departmental reports.
I'll make a motion to accept the departmental reports.
Is there a second to the motion?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right,
Aye. Kathy, 3 ayes. Pat, you want to go over the meetings warrants?
Okay, we have 3 warrants for your signature tonight. First one is warrant number 68, the amount of $294,070.09, dated May 8th, 2020. That is a bill paying warrant. Then we have warrant number 69, in the amount of $399,312.52, dated 5/15/2020. That is a payroll warrant. Then we have warrant number 70 in the amount of $193,215.74, dated 5/15/20, and that is the maintenance warrant that goes along with the payroll.
Motion to accept the meeting warrants.
I will make a motion to accept fiscal year 2020 warrants number 68, 69, and 70.
I'll second the motion for the warrants.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye,
Aye. Kathy, 3 ayes. You want to skip the reopening plans? That might take a little bit.
Yep.
Talk about Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, we were informed by the Legion that the parade has been canceled. However, they are currently planning on visiting the memorial on Memorial Day and to abide by whatever the governor's numbers are for the total number of people to be able to be present in an outdoor setting.
What time is it?
Did they give a time? I don't- No, they didn't give a time. We can check and we can get it back to you. Okay.
Should we consider having, I guess, police presence here? Police having gathering?
Well, right now it's only 10 people, so, you know, I think they can stay off the road and be able to do that. If it goes to 25 or something like that, then maybe we may have to worry about it. You know,
Just 10 people across the street, 10 people in the center. So that's what people that want to come out and show respect, see people doing that. I guess we got to come up with kind of a plan, at least have a plan for the public. So at least they know what to expect, because, you know, too many people there, then we have to react to it.
all right, I'll check with the Chief Wishart to see if we can maybe have a cruiser or detail available for that.
Jen, any have any thoughts on that?
I don't really have any thoughts. I'm pretty sure that most people are going to respect, they really won't come to the parade anyway, so I don't think that we're going to need these presents.
I don't know if we would or not, I just want to make sure that we get the information out to people, because still think people are, still may come out. So there's a lot of veterans in town that just come out to show respect.
Yeah,
We should also look at, at least having one thing.
one floor board member,
Remember there.
correct.
We talk about that, and say, we'll be there, but then we talk through it, it's just, basically the numbers.
Take away from somebody else coming.
Right, we should have, at least one of us in the reference in the town.
I do agree with that.
Okay, we'll look further information regarding that. Chris, has the Board of Health checked in yet?
No. Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about the one-day liquor license request?
Well, we have that one-day liquor license for May 30th. Campers Club. And so what we're questioning is it's for 125 people to be held there. Now, while the Board of Health was hopefully going to be here, I wanted to check with them.
I am here now, Chris.
Because of the size of the gathering.
Dick Bombardier is there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting on the computer. It says I've got a
Okay,
lousy connection.
Dick, you're muted. Can you unmute your? Dick
Unmute
Bombardier
your
muted
mic on your computer, Dick.
on mine.
Okay, I'll try it.
There we go. So do you want to chime in on this? Do you think the Board of Health is going to have an issue with a gathering of 125 people for a wedding reception at the Campers Club on the 30th?
I don't know, given that the new guidelines coming out, is certainly just saying that's going to be a packed house, I'm guessing is not going to fit under the guidelines. But I think we'd have to look. I didn't look at what. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see what's happening at May 25th. I've got to go shut my computer off. I've got a feedback.
His volume is still muted on his computer.
Now, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just shut the computer off. But I'm guessing that we've got the second level guidelines that are coming in on the 25th, and I haven't reviewed even the first ones, but even for churches, they're talking about, which are on the first stage, they're talking about keeping the 6-foot separation plus masks. So I would say just saying 125 for a wedding reception, no questions asked, probably isn't going to go.
Should we have them contact the Board of Health office, Dick?
That's probably the smart thing to do. We certainly will have some better in the next few days. We'll at least know what these things they just released today mean. And then we'll be able to see what's happening on the next round starts on the 25th, the next level. So I think the best thing would go with the Board of Health. In fact, when you look at the restrictions that they're going to put on and enforcement of the restrictions, looks like it's going to be Board of Health anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, I would postpone to the date.
Well, the reception is supposed to be May 30th. You could grant the liquor license pending approval of the local enforcing agency, the Board of Health, whether or not the event can occur. And we would hold it until the Board of Health gave permission.
Can't hear
We
Glenn.
won't deposit the check at this point. We'll just hold it until we can get an idea from the board, whether or not they're going to allow it to occur based upon whatever the new regulations may be as of March 25th. Yeah. So is there a motion to grant the one-day liquor license to forgot what her first name is, Miss Champagne, I believe it is.
Alicia Champagne.
I couldn't hear Glenn at all.
What we're doing, Jay, is we are going to issue the one-day liquor license. We're not going to deposit the check. We're going to hold the license until we hear from the Board of Health whether they're going to allow the event to occur based upon the number of people and the regulations from the state that will be in effect as of May 30th.
I would agree because the Board of Health's got to approve all the plans for all the businesses. And they're also the enforcement authority, so it's their ballgame, really.
Jay, can you hear me now?
Jay,
I'm here.
can you hear Glenn when he's talking?
No,
You can't hear me?
cannot hear Glenn. And I can see Jennifer, and Jennifer's mic is muted.
Because she's not speaking.
Now she's unmuted.
How about now, Jay?
I can hear you now. You must be identified as CO. Caller number 3.
Must be.
No, you're caller number 4.
Oh, no, 4. Why doesn't my name come up?
Because you are only calling in by phone. You're not going through the internet, so I can't see who you are, because if you go through the internet, you have to put your username or your name in.
All right. From now on, I'm calling number 4. All right, moving it along.
Are we gonna take a vote on
So, is there a motion?
that? Yeah.
These things are awful. This is awful.
Motion was to approve the one-day with special alcohol permit for Alicia Champagne pending approval from the Board of Health for May 30th.
Is there a second?
I'll second that liquor license as long as the Board of Health is the approving authority for the function. Because again, I can't hear Glenn, so I'm just guessing what it says.
I guess I know because it was called lost.
I'm still here, but you hear my microphone.
You
You
are?
hear my earphone.
You hear me? But I can't hear you through mine.
Would you like to sit over here and I'll remove myself from in front of this machine? It's more important they hear you, Glenn. Come here.
I don't know if this is that signal.
Are you guys, anybody else hearing one?
Come on, come on. Sit there.
That's what was happening last time too. I don't know if that's like a dead area over there in the corner.
Hey, now I can see you.
Now you can see me? Yeah, I can see everybody now. This is good. I don't need that. All right, so Jen, you made a motion to approve the one-day liquor license. Jay, you seconded it?
Yeah,
That's
as long as the Board of Health approves the event.
Correct. Correct. This is all pending the Board of Health.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to approve all the stuff.
All right, all in favor? Kathy, 3 ayes on that.
You want me to turn up the speaker on that?
Could you please? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
While you have a big problem here, Dick, do you want to speak on behalf of the Board of Health on your 2 topics, or any of your
Sure.
other board members logging in?
Well, Herb isn't gonna make it. Lee was supposed to make it, but rather than hold you guys up, I'm sure that I can speak for the board.
Okay, the first topic we're going to talk about was the Mosquito district that you had originally asked to be put on the agenda about. And then the second topic is I want to talk about the email you sent me to be sent to the board members regarding the proposed rules for the opening of the parks. When the board voted, they wanted to open up Brown Ellison. I was asked to send you an email for the board health input, and I just want to go over those with you along with the board in case they have any questions regarding what you were proposing for the rules and regs to open the parks.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
When you're ready, I'll start.
You're on.
Okay, and if you lose me, let me know. I can hear Jay pretty well. I can hear Chris pretty well, but I certainly appreciate that you're taking the time to hear from us. But this is on the warrant article to join the Pioneer Valley Mosquito Control District, and it's one that what my purpose right now is to explain the reasoning of why we're proposing this, to answer any questions that you might have, and hopefully to gain your support. I think that having our two boards together, one way or the other, is probably, talking this stuff out here and getting together is probably what the town expects of us. So the board of health ought to be trying to work with you guys and you with us too. So our thoughts for this was last year when we had our scare, we realized that we were using people and horses as the test to decide whether we've got a problem with these triple-E mosquitoes in our town. And we said, gee, we don't know enough about this. The Board of Health didn't, for sure. And then when we said, what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? What if we need treatment? How do we get funding? We didn't have any knowledge about this. And we looked into, and the disease itself is really a rare disease. If you look at in Massachusetts since the mid-30s, there's only been like 130 cases of it. It's a bad disease. There's no vaccine for it. There's no treatment for it. About 30 or 40% of the people that have it die, and the rest of the people that have it end up with some from mild to severe brain damage. So it's a bad thing. Normally, nationwide, there's only like 8 of these cases a year. Last year in Massachusetts was a particularly bad one. There were 12 cases. So it's there. And this control district that we're interested in was formed. There's some new regulations that were formed. So this is the Pioneer Valley, which is Hampden County, Hampshire County, and Franklin County. And it is a local group. In fact, what we have in this currently, there are more people that are towns trying to get into it. Right now, there's Bernardston, Deerfield, East Longmeadow, Hadley, Holyoke, Northampton, Palmer, Southampton, South Hadley, and West Springfield. But what they have to do to get into this district is a voluntary district controlled locally with their own elected board of directors. And it takes an annual town meeting approval to get into it. And if you want to get out of it, it's also a simple annual town meeting vote get out of it. But it has a yearly fee of $5,000, and what we would get for the $5,000 is testing. That would be for a year, and the mosquito season is typically June to October. And what they do is they put the traps in, they catch the mosquitoes, they analyze them and find out if they're diseased, and they report to us. So we find out if they are in our community. The other thing is they have the setup that they can coordinate efforts that we would have to, or that we would choose to take. And they kind of give us a group of knowledge and a group of people that we don't have the link right now. Any kind of spraying other than in a crisis, the state can spray any place if the state decides it's a crisis, whether you're in this group or not. But for us in our town, no spraying would occur unless the town was the one that authorized it. I think currently spraying that would be street-wide spraying from a truck, I think may be paid for by the state, and then big area spraying would be the town. But in any event, it would be the town that decided if spraying would occur. When we talked to the group, in fact, the guys in the state dealing with mosquitoes, they're thinking that this is a cycle of mosquitoes. This bad cycle right now is probably going to last 3 or 4 more years, and it'll drop back down to a lower level. That's just that one that you might see 2 or 3 cases a year. The spraying, if it did occur, is a spray which would be separate. It's not. I hate to even go into the spraying because that's not what this is about. But just to let you have an idea that it's a spray that's sprayed at night. It has no health impact. That the stuff only lasts less. It's the half-life. So half of it's gone within a day. The sun degrades it and makes it go away. Doesn't affect water. It's been around for a long time. It's a synthetic chrysanthemum-based material that's got an additive to have it more effective on mosquitoes. I'm just trying to see what other things that we have in here. Our thought is that it's something that I know we're all thinking about COVID, and it's just something that last year we all jumped around with. As we said, it was a mistake. We didn't have the data that we needed, but they put us in a critical area. The state did, because of the horse that we thought died here, and it didn't. But that's basically what we're trying to do. We're saying that we think that the seriousness is rare but very serious, and that we think that we can be serving the town a lot better than we are, and I'm talking about the Board of Health, than we are by being in this group. So that's basically my story about it, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, I've got some stuff, Dick. It's Jay, if you don't recognize it.
Yes, Jay.
Okay, I read up on this, and the only town that abuts us in this consortium or district is South Hadley. Belchertown, Ludlow, Amherst, and Chicopee do not belong to it at all. Now,
No, but Jay, when I talked to Chris Craig, I believe is his name, he's saying that there are other towns that are actively trying to get in this right now. I don't know what they are, though.
Well, my data is effective as of 9 January of 2020 from the
Yeah,
Mass.
Yeah, everybody has to join only at an annual town meeting or at whatever their form of government is. So I would expect that those towns that I gave you, I think are the current ones also. And you're right, the ones, Belchertown isn't in it.
Yeah, neither is Ludlow, Amherst, or Chicopee.
Okay.
And I know from Mr. Martin, because of last year, the town did spray 2 to 3 times by truck last year. And we had no problems at Dufresne's Parks. We had no problems at Brown Ellison. And when I read all the data from that Pioneer Valley Mosquito Control District, they will consult with the municipalities and with them. It doesn't say that they have to get our authorization. They will consult with us. And I don't like giving up control. I think the town is doing a very good job spraying by truck. Like again, they sprayed 2 to 3 times per year. I looked at the chemical that this mosquito control district is using. It kills fish in small ponds and streams. It kills all bees, so there's no pollination. And we have organic farms here in Granby, and 1/3 of Granby's surface is water. And so I am really not in favor of doing this. If I go back to 1970, I was told not to worry about Agent Orange and not to worry about DEET. And well, guess what? I've got cancer today because of it. So
Can I answer any of the questions, Jay?
say again? You can
Can
answer
I
it.
answer any of those? First is when you say that you've got good control of the town and the mosquitoes, I question that since you don't have any data on it. We don't, not just you, we don't. Second is we're the ones, our town is the ones that authorize the use of any of these chemicals, the spraying of it, only us, not unless there's a crisis, and then in that case, we don't have any choice. The district isn't involved, it would be the state. But in terms of what's happening in the town, we are the ones that would determine what would be for chemicals. It absolutely doesn't kill the bees that they're sprayed at night so that the bees aren't affected by this chemical. It isn't killing fish, and I'm just sorry, don't know where you're getting the data, but it's not a fish killing chemical.
I got the data from the EPA website based upon the chemical they're using.
And
That's
that
a
chemical
chemical.
is Anvil 10+10, is that the chemical you looked at?
I forget what it is now. I read it earlier today, but I've been doing 100 different things today.
Yeah, you need to rest assured that you need to know what that is, because you and I are on opposite sides of this, Jay. But regardless of this, it's still the town's decision to do it or not. Just as much as you said the town is doing it, you guys are doing it. This would be supplying us with the data to be smarter about the way we do it. And again, it's to be afraid to take the data seems like a strange way to look at it. When you, quite frankly, when you looked at it and you wanted the data about how many cases of COVID were in the town, you said to me that data was important. I think it is. I support you.
I think data
it's smart to know the data.
I think data is very important. But when I read that thing on mass.gov about what this mosquito control district does, it says it will consult with the municipalities that it supports. It's nowhere in there did it say that the municipality had to authorize it. And
Well, you have to read it because
I did,
they are not in control. We are in control.
as long as our town is in control, I love data. But I don't like giving up control because like last year at Charter Day and all the times we had at Brown Ellison, all the spraying that the town did, there were no mosquitoes. And just like this COVID virus doesn't not only cross the state line, it crosses town lines. And if these other towns around, or all around us are not going to spray or whatever, I can't see how us spraying alone is going to do anything.
We're not
Data,
spraying,
yes, I
Jay.
love it.
Which chemical did the town use last year, please?
I have to ask Chris Martin that because
Okay.
he did it from the pest control.
I'm just wondering if it's the same chemical that they told us that's available, that chrysanthemum derivative. And I don't know that, of course.
Yeah, I without, because Chris used the pest control guy that lives in Granby. And he has a
Yeah.
truck.
The important thing of this for sure is that it is the town that's in control of this. And Jay, what I don't know, I'm thinking that since the Board of Health doesn't even have a budget for the spraying, I'm guessing that it's the select board that ultimately ends up in control of this. I guess that if the Board of Health thought it needed spraying based on the data, I guess we could go through finance committee to get it, but I think it's not the natural way. I think it ends up that you guys end up being in control. I would anticipate that the data on the types of mosquitoes and where they found them would be coming into the Board of Health, and the Board of Health would end up with their recommendations from the district, when then we would be having to go to you guys to say, hey, we think that this is what needs to be done. So I would see that you guys end up ultimately in the driver's seat here.
Well, I think Chris budgets so much money for spraying. I don't want to speak for him, but he did tell me last year that he sprayed 2 or 3 times and he had the money in the budget to do it.
Hey, Dick.
Right, Chris?
Hang on a second, Jay. Hey, Dick, one section. I guess where I'm looking at would be that from the Board of Health, if that's something they feel is beneficial to the town, then I would recommend that the Board of Health bring it to a town meeting and, bring up all the information that you feel needs to be told, and let the town decide whether or not they feel it's appropriate for them.
Well, that will end up being what's happening, that we've got a warrant article in there right now, and that and it has to, the way this district is set up, it has to be in our town form of government. It has to be even at an annual town meeting. It can't be at a special town meeting. So
Right.
definitely the townspeople have to hear the story, and for sure, that where I'm seeing that Jay is concerned. I'm also concerned that if in fact we're not in charge of our spraying, then that's a whole different story. So before this comes to the town meeting, we will have the thing in writing from those guys and see make sure it's in the charter that we're in charge, that we'll get back to you for sure with that issue. And again, that if the type of spray is of secondary importance to be whether we're going to apply it at all. If it's not something that we want to apply, and it doesn't matter. But also, obviously, something on Chris's work at spraying that that they must have been spraying something that didn't kill all the fish in Dufrane's. But again,
The pesticide that we were using.
but
Yeah,
we will absolutely get back. Are there other issues that we have to work on besides that one? So we might as well, I'd like to catch them, and so the questions that you guys are thinking, that you're helping us by saying these are our concerns, and this is it's not an effort on our part to try to get around the select board. We're trying to use you guys as a resource.
yeah, I mean, it just sounds like you and Jay are saying two totally different things when you're talking about the same topic, so.
Right, we got to get the answer.
Right,
I got my
absolutely.
information off mass.gov, and then I cross-reference it with EPA.
And I think moving forward, this is something that we're gonna bring to, a town meeting, the town floor. I wanna make sure that we have all our information correct. You know, some questions do come up, you know, we have the answers that they can provide them to the public. You know,
Right.
and Dick, and as you said too, you know, other towns, you know, depending on when they do it, they may be at their, town meeting where they have to do it too. So instead of being concerned that we are, you know, not one of, you know, the other towns around us, besides South Hadley is not doing that. I mean, I'd also look at, let us be a trendsetter too, and maybe with us doing it, maybe Belchertown would do it, maybe Ludlow would do it. You know, and then Chicopee, maybe the other surrounding towns and cities may say, hey, Granby's done it, so maybe we want to do it too.
Yeah, but we can look at it the other way. Why is Belchertown, Ludlow, Amherst, and Chicopee not doing it?
Well, because they may not have the chance yet, as Dick talked about, if they have to do it is there's a certain period when they have to do it, then the Ludlow is a town government with a select board. Belchertown is a town government with a select board. You know, Chicopee's different with a city council and a mayor, so, you know, it might be different for each area. It might be different between the towns and the cities, and, you know, who knows when they're coming up to do it.
Right, this is not a one-year
other thing
thing.
is-
Those towns have never done it.
But I gotta say, you know,
Well-
Dick, if you could reach out to, you know, Belchertown, their Board of Health, and maybe Ludlow, and ask them, you know, if they've heard about it and what their thoughts are on it as well.
I can do that. I absolutely can do that. And it may be, as I said, it's just conjecture on my part. If you look last year at this time, the Granby Board of Health didn't have any interest in it either. And once you end up with being put on the critical town list and not being able to go outside and start saying, holy mackerel, if this is really happening to us, we're ill prepared. And we certainly can see what happens to, you know, the rest of us by being ill prepared at the beginning of this year and what we're going through right now. So we're just trying to be proactive right now, and I absolutely will reach out to other towns and find out what the reason. If it is because they never thought about it, that's one thing. If it's not, if it's something else, and they say, you know, we think there's a drawback to this, we're going to find out, and we'll let you guys, for sure. It won't
Well,
be a
that's all-
town meeting that you hear the answer for the first time. I promise you that.
No, and that's why I'm asking these questions now, Dick, because I don't want to embarrass anybody at a town meeting. I just as soon talk before then and let you
I
know what I
agree.
found out so we can address it properly.
I agree with you. That's the reason
Yeah.
that this is not, the reason we came to talk to you is not to have a debate. It's to be getting exactly what you guys are giving us for feedback, saying, hey, you got some holes here. Let's find out. Let's plug the holes and not be afraid of what we find out. Let's find out and tell you what we find out.
And that's the only reason I'm bringing it up, Dick, versus being silent and waiting.
Right. This is the time to do it. And again, the townspeople expect us to be at least that you can say I have a different opinion, but we sure as heck don't want to go into town meetings saying this guy's not telling you the truth. The truth
No.
is the truth. We'll find it. we'll find it and everybody will know it. And you can then say, well, now that I know the answers, I may choose to go one way or the other, but at least everybody will have the same answers.
Absolutely, Dick, and that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'd like to see is that, we have all the facts, the correct facts, so when things come up, it's, people aren't doubting, if someone's presenting facts, I don't want people doubting that what they presented is not true. So I'll make sure we
That's
have
right.
their facts to put forward.
I agree. The town people should demand that of us, and that's what we should be giving them. So I've got the three things that I've written down, and let's make sure that they're the right ones.
I'll email you. Want me to email it to you, Dick? And I'll email it to
Well,
Chris?
no, I want you guys to know, I'm gonna go after three different things. I wanna make sure that it
Okay,
is the right three and there aren't more. The first one is finding out who has control of the spraying and makes a decision on it. The
agreed.
second one is the safety of chemicals that anybody would be spraying.
Mm-hmm.
The third is to go to the towns around us that aren't involved with this and find out why they're not joining the district.
I agree.
What
Yeah.
have I missed any?
Generically, I don't think you missed a thing.
Okay, we will get those answers and we will get back to you guys. I'm gonna try to do it in the next week, but I'll have to go before sending anything out. We've got a meeting a week from tomorrow. I'll see if I can get that answer. Gene's on vacation, so one of the resources that I have is missing. So it might not be to the following week, but I will, absolutely, we will get back and you'll hear. And then if we say, gee, that's not a good enough kind of answer, because you need more, check on it some more, we'll go the next round, but we will get these answers.
Okey doke.
Jen, did you have anything? Good.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Okay, moving on, Dick. What about the parks?
And I really appreciate the help on this.
We're a team. It's a team effort.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Chris, Lee, oh, did we lose Lee?
Yes. I'm here.
Don't go yet because that,
We got the
Chris
parks.
wanted to talk about a recommendation on parks.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead, Chris, your floor.
Your floor, go ahead.
My floor. As I said, at our last meeting, we had talked about opening Brownells. And prior to doing that, because we know that there was some concerns over proper social distancing at the Dufresne's when we opened that up. Also, we had concerns regarding the dog track over there and also the baseball diamond and soccer field. So we wanted the Board of Health's input regarding what they felt we should implement for rules and regulations for the opening of the park. Also, we also have some fields over at Dufresne's that I felt the Board of Health should give us some advice on how to proceed with going to a full opening of the park at some point in the future. Do you want me to read your memorandum to us, or should we just?
You can, I don't have the copy in front of me, Chris, so you're the one with the written text, so you can use it as you will right now.
Okay, let me read what the Board of Health had sent to the select. The intent of this memorandum is to provide guidelines to safely reopen recreation areas for individual use or for family unit recreation. The message is not intended to endorse day-long excursions out of or to encourage interactions outside the family unit. Residents are urged to avoid any area that looks overcrowded and seek alternate locations for exercise or activities. Play structures, basketball courts, baseball, softball diamonds, soccer and football fields, and volleyball courts will remain closed until further notice. Pavilions will remain closed until further notice. Groups of greater than 10 individuals are not allowed. No formal or informal team games or practices are allowed. Fabric face masks covering the nose and mouth are required both indoors and outdoors when a 6-foot social distance cannot be maintained. Coverings and masks are not a replacement for social. Masks can help protect residents from other people in situations where social distancing is not possible. Exceptions for wearing face coverings or masks include situations that may preclude an individual wearing a face covering or mask safely. These may include, but are not limited to, those who cannot breathe safely, those who, due to a behavioral health diagnosis, are unable to do so, those communicating with people who rely on lip reading, and those who require supplemental oxygen to breathe. When we had spoke, Dick, when you sent this, you were made the offer that the Board of Health would make these required regulations as part of the park opening. And I just wanted the board to talk with your board to see if that's what they so desire, as you are the local enforcing authority on anything regarding the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, when we talked, Chris, we had said, and the board said the same thing. I think we're going to talk to the school department also about it. We didn't discuss it at a board meeting, so we can't do it. We can't do it yet. But our feeling was that you had reached out to us, and we took a look at what the Commonwealth was saying, what the governor was saying on how to behave in public. We looked at what Northampton was doing as they were opening their parks a little over a week ago, and we even looked at the golf course regulations and said, let's try to pull those together and give you a recommendation. And then we said, rather than we didn't come in and say, that's what you have to do. The board didn't do that. What we just tried to do is comply with your request. But as we thought about it, we said, gee, the police department is now the agent of the Board of Health for enforcing these governor's regulations, Board of Health and the police department, now that there are agents. And we said, gee, if the select board, who is in charge of the parks, if they're going to come up with said, gee, this seems like a reasonable set of regulations, then it seemed like the logical way to do it would be to say, okay, Board of Health, you're the guys that make these regulations right now and enforce them. Let them be your regulations so that it fits right into the whole system, if you chose to take them. There's another thing that's going to be happening and I think it's the third phase of the opening is going to be the opening of athletic fields. So they're going to be in another couple weeks, I think, there are going to be another set of guidance papers that are coming out on them. But that's what our feeling was if the select board said that's what we want to do. But again, it wasn't our intent to say we want to jump in and do this. We were just responding to a request.
Oh, I agree with you, Dick, but I just want to just let the board know that you and I had talked. And
Right.
I, agree with you being the local enforcing agency, that your input was critical as part of our process of reopening recreation areas.
So I guess that the ball is in your court to say, is that what we want to do? That the problem, I'm not sure if the regulations right now are probably very close to the ones that would be the ones that fit what the governor is saying is in effect anyway. So it may be something that it's just formalizing what is in fact the regulation right now.
All right. I mean, do we want to have input from the Parks Committee as well? I think that's, I think that's a good option for us. Maybe I just, maybe just have Lou Berry. He can speak to it as, as speaking for the Parks Committee, just have some input from them. I think that's important too.
Sure, as I said, at this point, it seems like it's in your board's hands. Other than when if people using it are not being in compliance with the governor's orders right now, then it isn't. It's they're breaking some regulations that regardless. So some things will be enforced anyway.
Yeah, I know, Dick, looking at what you presented, I mean, it all looks reasonable to me. And again, I just like to have some input from the Parks Committee too. Just with everybody's input before moving forward, that's all.
That seems like a smart thing to do. It absolutely does.
Jen, anything?
No, I agree that we should have the park input on this. However, sooner the better, because we want to be able to start using these regulations.
Well, if you look at what the governor had talked about for his reopening plan on May 25th regarding recreation and outdoor, on page 16.
Yep. Thank you.
He talks about on May 25th, can open with guidelines, beaches, parks, some athletic fields and courts, many outdoor adventure activities, most fishing, hunting, and boating, outdoor gardens, zoos, reserves, and public installations. So, like you said, Jim, the sooner the better, because March 25th is a week away.
Well, May 25th is,
Or May.
I don't know, March. Well, I think if we just get an input from Lou Berry, I mean, if we just send him an email and ask, I'm sure he probably has it on hand already, what his thoughts are, and moving forward, I think we can do that. I mean, we could get him a copy of what Dick and his board have put together, and maybe he has no other input besides that. Maybe he likes the way that is, and we can move forward with that.
And as I said, I think what's going to happen is, as Chris is saying, that on the 25th, there's going to be some other kind of thing that we would probably end up having to modify it anyways, but at least we'll find out. But let us know. If we're gonna act on it, knowing we're gonna meet, the Board of Health's gonna meet a week from tomorrow. That would probably be the time that if we shot for a date, so if we could get it early enough, what I could do, I could have Gene put it on our agenda. You wouldn't have to have closed on what you wanted to do. And then even if we chose not to act on it, at our next meeting, we can just choose not to act. We'll just put it on the agenda anyway.
I mean, we have.
Well, I think what we're looking at is we don't want to violate anything in the town, and since you're the enforcing body of the town, what you say goes. You get it from the governor, and then you guys go from there.
Well, as I read it, says on May 25th, beaches and parks, I mean, they can open up with guidelines. We're creating the guidelines. And we need to
The,
make.
according to the governor, the local board of health creates the guidelines.
I understand that, Jay, and then Dick is asking for our help and our assistance with it. I understand that. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to provide him with assistance with, you know, input from the select board as well as input from the Parks Committee.
Yeah, I know, I said
We have
that last.
people there now. We have some things that are going on right now at Dufresne Park. We kind of have some quote unquote guidelines there now for people using it. So if they open up on May 25th, we kind of have some type of guidelines already in place because we allow people to use the trails and stuff like that already. We could just increase those guidelines.
I think what you're looking at, Glenn, seems like the right approach. That if you look at the stakeholders that are involved here, you've got, as Jay is saying, the Board of Health is involved. You guys are involved in the parks. Those are the three main stakeholders. And by pulling everybody together, and once again, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm going to be a boss on this," it says, "Okay, we've all looked at this. There are some holes here that we'd like to fill, or something that doesn't look right." You do it and you get it so it makes sense. And then, you know, when people end up having to live by the regulations, then everybody says, "Hey, we've all had a piece of this."
I'm
I think when
losing
that's the,
Dick. I don't know if anybody else.
what'd you
What's-
say?
Nothing. I heard you, Dick. Anything else? Did anybody else not hear Dick?
Okay,
I can hear, I lost Dick. I can,
okay. All I was saying, Jay, is that I think that Glenn's suggestion of getting the three stakeholders, the Board of Health, the Select Board, and the Parks guys all together and say, "We support this," I think that's a powerful way to make a decision. And if we shoot for next Tuesday as the time for the Board of Health to act on whatever everybody says is the right way to go, then that's a good thing to do.
I've got no problem with that. I said that the last select board meeting.
So Jen's shaking her head yes. I don't know if everybody can see that, so let's plan that way, Dick, moving forward. Then we'll, you know, our suggestions from the select board, but we'll get the input from the Parks Committee, and that can be forwarded to you, and you guys can discuss it at your meeting next Tuesday. And I guess you can bring it back to us, and we can all look at it. If that's what you feel is the best option, then that can be put in place.
If Glenn's talking right now, I can't hear him.
I was.
Okay,
talking-
I could.
Yeah. Because like I
I
said,
could.
we already have some things in place already that we can still move forward with. We do have some guidelines already, even though our parks are closed, but we do have guidelines for people to use them technically. So I think on May 25th, when that officially opens up, there's guidelines in place, and we can increase those guidelines accordingly so they fit correctly.
Okay, so I'll make sure that this is on our agenda, and the Board of Health is gonna wait for feedback from you that will hopefully we'll get before our meeting.
Jen, do you have anything else? I mean, I'm just looking at it, I'm okay with what you've presented already, Dick, and your board has presented as far, unless someone has some other concerns.
The only thing that I have
Slightly, yeah.
Okay, then it sounds like you guys are
Hey,
done with us
hey,
for
hey,
tonight.
Hang on, Dick. Jen was gonna speak.
Okay. You're gonna have to repeat it, Glenn, because I can't hear her at all.
Okay, let's give her a second. I think she's working on the computer.
The only question or concern that I have is, as part of the reopening, it says we can open some athletic fields. How are we going to, when people see that, they're going to want to utilize when they look at the reopening plan? So
Glenn, you're gonna have to repeat that because I couldn't understand any of it.
Okay, Dick, if you look at the governor's reopening Massachusetts and phasing document, there is it says on May 25th, we can open with guidelines, some athletic fields and courts. The issue is what athletic fields are going to be open, and then how are we going to address some being open, like say, a soccer field versus a baseball diamond? And how are we going to address it and keep people from using fields that aren't going to be allowed to be open on the May 25th opening date? I believe that's where Jen was going with it.
And I'm concerned with that also, that I don't know when you say some, not you, you're obviously, you're reading what's written. And I don't know yet what some fields and with guidance means. And I think we're gonna have to find out what the governor's guidance is. And I can through our channels, I'll reach out and see if I can find out what that's going to be, and I can, if I can find it, I'll get back to you.
I mean, I guess I look at it as a baseball diamond being open. Doesn't mean they're actually playing baseball there. You can have a couple kids or a couple grown-ups just being on the diamond, throwing the ball back and forth. I mean, it just means that part of the park, that field is open for use. That's
Yeah,
kind of
and we'll have to find that out, Glenn.
Yeah, well, I guess just looking at that, because there's other guidelines that would supersede that, you know, as far as groups greater than 10 individuals aren't allowed. I mean, that supersedes, you know, if you have a baseball diamond, you can't have any more than 10 people out there on that baseball diamond. That supersedes, you know, what the requirement is. So I guess
Well, we're not,
Yeah,
we won't be
And that's why
encouraging
we're
any
saying
organized teams.
Right. We're not, like, it say that somewhere too, where no formal, informal team games or practices are allowed.
I would agree with going in that direction. There's nothing else I don't think that we can possibly do other than make that clear with some possibly a little signage. But beyond that, I don't know how you can't enforce it any other way.
And I would agree. I think
Oh,
we should have some type of signage up there when we come to an agreement that what you feel is what you want to have out there, Dick, and your board. We should have some signs made up and have them posted. That's how we're gonna let the public know what's allowed and what's not allowed.
yeah, I think so. But for sure that the first step is to find out if there's still in some prohibition that the governor's saying that if it's viewed like you just said, Glenn, that the field is physically open, that someone can walk on it, is different than if it's open, then you could start practices. So we need to find that out.
Right,
And we'll find.
because there's parks in other cities and other towns where it's a baseball field. That's the only thing there. We're a little bit
Yeah.
different. We have Two-Frame Park, which has, you know, baseball fields included within in the park with other places too. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, anything else on that? Anything else?
I don't think so.
Everybody's good? All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it, taking your time
Well,
to.
and we really appreciate your input, and we'll get you the information.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Okay,
Take
thank you,
care.
everybody.
Thank you. Chris, you want to talk about the reopening plan?
Okay, basically, today, the governor really opened the state, reopening of Massachusetts plan, basically 4 phases. Along with that, I've been trying to talk with the various departments about how we're gonna go about reopening our own town buildings. I spoke with Chief Wishart today. He's gonna be developing a plan to be able to reopen the public safety so that people will be able to get and be able to drop off no longer needed medications to the drop-off box, to try and open up the lobby so that people can come in and get permits from the fire department. How he's going to deal with issuing of gun permits and trying to keep our employees safe. I also talked to the director of the libraries. She is already putting together a plan for limited reopening of the library to be able to let people come in and pick up books and DVDs. We're not planning on reopening the computer sections yet at this point in time, but they can come in and get books and reference materials and things to be able to do in their spare time. I also spoke with the director of senior services about how we can go about starting to reopen the senior center. We can't just open the doors because I think there'll be too many people who will want to come here, and we won't be able to practice proper 6-foot distancing protocol. So what we're looking at doing is restarting the transportation program, rides. Allow people to come and arrange for rides to grocery stores, doctor appointments, things of that nature. Utilizing the Council on Aging vans. What we would be doing is we will require the driver to wear a mask and gloves. We would also require the passengers to wear a mask. In between the rides that are scheduled for the vans, we would use a sanitizer to spray on the seat. The seats are vinyl seats, so we want to be able to spray down the seats with a sanitizer between rides. Okay. Basically, we're questioning the number of passengers. We're looking at that if it's a family members, we can allow 2 people to be in the vehicle. If they're not family members, we're questioning only allowing 1 vehicle at a time due to the fact of the 6-foot distancing protocol. I also spoke with Chief Wishart today about being able to restart the salt house numbering and the lockbox program. He was all for restarting that program again.
Thank you, Chief.
We also talked about reopening of the food pantry with which would be by appointment only. Masks, gloves, and hand sanitizer would be provided with use required for the clients and only 1 client in the pantry at a time because of the space constraints. Brown bags, we would be looking at continuing the delivery service for homebound seniors and arrange for contact-free curbside pickup for other people who qualify for the brown bag program. Between the hours of, say, 10 and 11 or 9 and 11 or whatever, they can come here, we would bring it out and they could get their stuff here. Not
Okay.
We also talked about the outreach coordinator, that seeing if maybe they could meet with clients in person while maintaining the 6-foot distance. Both the staff and the clients would be required to wear masks during that interaction. And also continue the grocery delivery program for homebound seniors. We also started talking about maybe looking at being able to start having luncheons here again. And it's split outside to begin with. Maybe close down half the parking lot, put barriers across, or borrow barriers from the highway department to allow us to move the tables outside, to allow people to feel and socialize a little bit and be able to get their luncheon here instead of having to be in their home. That Chloe and I are going to look at how we can go about doing that.
I like that idea. The only thing is, when it's 80 degrees out and you're on top of blacktop, it's rather hot.
I understand that, but we're trying to encourage socializing. That's what we're trying to do. And there's really no other place to really try and look.
Is that something we could do at Dufresne Park with the big pavilion there?
I have to talk to Chloe about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's some logistic issues there or not.
I'm just wondering if that's an area, it's especially during, it's shaded when it's hot, like, you know, it's.
Well, we would probably have to get input from the Board of Health because under the regs, the pavilions would not be available. And that's where we're currently storing all our picnic tables behind the.
Well,
facility.
but you're talking down the road, we're not talking about next
Well,
week, but.
I'm talking as soon as we can. I'd like to try and get the seniors out and start socializing. They've been locked up.
Yeah.
You know, for their own good. Well, a lot of people don't.
I've been locked up. That's-
Even though a lot of people are starting to have an issue with it, we are encouraging them not to interact with other people. But I'd like to be able to get them back and get them starting to be able to socialize with their friends again and get together, having a meal together, and maybe do some activities outside and things of that, weather permitting.
Well, maybe we can look at, you know, renting a tent or something like that. Or maybe even purchasing a tent for the town that will always have a tent for other events. Like if, you know, and they have their budget, that might be helpful, then they can always have other different events outside.
Well, like I said,
Yeah.
Colleen,
Something to think
just
about.
initially talking about
Yeah.
it, we wanted to just think our way through it.
Right.
You know, go outside and think our way through
Yeah.
it. And also to create a one-way traffic pattern in here, like a lot of grocery stores have done. Have them come in by the council and aging offices, come in that way and have to exit out through here. That way you don't have people trying to go in through both
Oh, I
doors.
like that.
It's a one-way traffic.
One way.
To try and be able to encourage people coming through and not bunching up, trying to come in and get both doorways at the same.
I have one thing, and I'll ask the other board members if they have anything. As far as rides and stuff like that, is there like a questionnaire that can be developed that the CDC has? They have certain questions that they put out there to be asked of people, maybe have, you know, taken someone's temp. Because the last thing I want to do is put someone in a van with a driver who may be, you know, coronavirus positive, you know, or percent. I worry about that, you
I
know.
can see if I can have the fire department order us the thermometer,
Yeah,
the one that we just pointed at the forehead. And we can have as part of the questionnaires, the question, have you had a runny nose, have you had things of that, typical litany.
right. Well, there's actually certain questions the CDC has put together, put out there.
Actually, I could ask
Yeah.
Gene Oz, as
Yeah.
the ambulance director.
Yeah.
To put together a set of questions prior to allowing them to schedule a ride.
Yeah,
Or to be scheduled, or to be asked when they're being picked up.
being picked up. I just,
Because
yeah.
if someone is not having any symptoms now, they could when, right?
Right, and I'm just thinking of, you know, people's safety, you know, as well too. And Chief, that might, I don't know if you can, that might be something for like the police department, you know, before people, they come in,
you know, that's maybe a signage questions or the temperature is taken or something like that. Other places are doing it. Yeah, you know, so,
I just want to start opening slowly.
Yeah.
And be able to do it so all our employees are safe.
absolutely, yeah.
I've also talked with Kathy Kelly Reagan up at the annex. The problem we have there is that such a small space up there.
Tight.
That what we were talking about doing is trying to encourage people to come in by appointment. One person per office, or two if they're family members, but try and spread out the appointment so that there's only one person in each office at the maximum to be able to deal with it, and then have them leave and then have the next appointment come in and be able to do face-to-face dealing.
I mean, that makes sense. I like that, you know, gives people access. They can, you know, if you can make an appointment, I know when I go, it's my turn to go and I can, you know, be seen and take care of, you know, my business. I can take care of.
And we'll highly encourage that people have to wear masks coming in. Just like right now, grocery stores and a lot of the retail outlets, like you don't come in, you don't have a mask, you don't come in. We won't
Right.
serve you. I'm gonna have hand sanitizers available at every desk. I've already purchased what they call the sneeze guards, the plastic
Yep.
shields for people to be able to have on front of each of their desks. We also have issued gloves, have gloves available for all our employees, as well as surgical masks available for all.
And I'd like to, if you start issuing gloves, I'd like for us to, I mean, we can do it with the fire department or the police department, that people understand the correct protocol for gloves and stuff and how to put them on, how to take them off. And, you know, sometimes people have the sense of security, put on gloves, but then they go around touching everything and it's no different than if you had your hands. So maybe a quick little protocol on how.
Maybe I'll see if
Come on,
maybe
take
the
'em off.
fire department or the ambulance department to,
Yeah.
put on a little show and tell.
Yeah, I just think if we're having the town employees do that, we should be providing, you know, proper procedures to put them on and take them off, because there are certain ways to put them on and take them off. But also, you know, the understanding of, you know, how to use your gloves. It's just not a cure for all.
And then for our offices upstairs, I like to do for appointment only for the time being, because like I don't want to open the door because people are going to try and sneak into the council meeting. We want to go slowly with that because they are highly individuals.
Jay, you have anything? Jay?
You're on mute.
To be honest with you, I can't hear everything. I did call Al Wishart on the phone. I don't think there's enough bandwidth in that building because everybody's getting broken up. I mean, if Al talks, I can hear him loud and clear. But anything coming out of that building, I don't know how Kevin feels. If he wants to chime in, because go ahead, Kevin. I mean, can you hear them? Or are they breaking up on you?
It's hit or miss. At times you guys are fine, at other times it's broken up.
Jay, you could be right, because like I said, you know, I'm sitting in the corner over there.
No,
On
it's
my
nothing to
phone.
do with that, because I'm talking to Kevin and Al right now, and I bet they can hear me loud and clear.
Well, I can hear you loud and clear too. Can you hear me?
Now I can, yeah, but when other things are going on, we can't. Everything's broken. Just like when Dick Bombardier was on, when Chris was on, doing his reopening plan, it was in and out.
Yeah.
You can ask the other two guys as well.
Yeah, well, my problem is I had to give up my computer for Glenn. So I'm
I
not.
think if we raise the bandwidth in that building, I think everything will
I
work.
know you're gonna call me out halfway through the meeting, Chris. I would have stayed in my chair.
No, it's just, you know, you needed to be there. You're the board member, I'm not.
Yeah, and see, and Chris is on with his smartphone. I think it's just the building. Either got to remove the select board meetings to another building or raise the bandwidth in that building so it can work.
No, Jay, you might be right. I mean, like I said, I was sitting in the corner on my cell phone and it just dropped. Nothing. It just lost the call.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
no
why-
service.
And that's why I asked Kevin and Al, because we're out in Timbuktu and we're using our own bandwidth and we're not having problems talking to each other. But getting with you guys is a different story.
Kevin's up the street. I mean, I know the chief's halfway across town, but Kevin's just up the street.
Yeah, but he's not in that building. That's a big secret right now.
I agree, Jake. And like I said, I saw it happen. I was on my phone and it just lost the call, just dropped it. So, I guess that's something we can probably look at. I don't know. Or less of us come to this building for meetings if this is something we gotta move forward.
Well, we can't look at it that way because the public might want to come in, and we're probably going to get complaints from the public because I've seen a lot of people come on and drop off.
Yeah, well, we can only have 10 in here anyway, so there's already, with you, if you were here, that's 5 of us anyway, so. We'll
Me
look
going
at it, we'll talk
quarantine,
about it.
You're not going to see me for a while, so.
Okay, I see you now, but, Jen, did you have anything in regards to the topic you're talking about?
To be honest with you, I didn't get all what Chris said, so I can't really answer that.
Okay, all right. All right then, well, moving forward, we have the old business action items. No? What? Oh, I'm sorry, firm appointments, I missed that. Yeah,
We have a request from the Granby Cultural Council to appoint 3 members to the council. The first one is Amanda Joel, 58 Truby Street. The next one is Angeli Marie Mercado Santana, 40 Amherst Street, and Virginia Longo, 139 South Street. It is a board that does need members, and I highly agree with appointing these people so that they can have a larger group of people to be able to issue cultural grants, mini grants to various organizations and people throughout the town.
is there a motion?
I would motion to approve Amanda, Angela Marie, and Virginia to the Granby Cultural Council.
Jay, do you hear that?
We're on a firm appointment, so I'll just say whatever she says, I second.
Okay, Jay, all right, all in favor? Aye. Jay?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Kathy, 3 ayes. All right.
The next item is John Mitchell resigned as our Veteran Service Officer effective May 8th or May 7th. However, we were able to get Michael Slater from South Hadley to agree to serve as our Veteran Service Officer in the interim. He is part of the old district we belong to, and he did ask if we would be joining the district again. I get the feeling that that's going to probably be our only option to be able to continue having a Veteran Service Officer is to join another district. And that district would include South Hadley and.
Right, we were part of the district a couple years ago, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to cost more, but for peace of mind, we're going to have to go with it.
Yeah, well, we're grateful to Mr. Slater for stepping up and helping us out. Definitely appreciate that, and Veteran Services is an important part of this town, Veteran Services. So, okay.
Okay, then we have old business. The first action item has to do with the water main. As requested, I did get a hold of Jeff Sear of South Hadley District 1. We do have a meeting scheduled for Thursday, May 28th at, I believe it was 6 p.m. A joint meeting with the district commissioners to talk to them about seeing if they will sell us water if we are able to move forward with installing the water main on our own. And it's not part of the Route 202 resurfacing project.
Okay, well, we'll have that discussion. with them. We wanted a meeting. That's our meeting, so.
Did you hand out those draft documents that I sent to Kathy about the application, and she's got all the letters done?
Kathy did.
Kathy did,
Oh, she handed them out to you guys?
yes,
Oh, okay. Because we can't finalize anything to after the meeting. But I
right,
did the draft letters to give us something ahead of time.
good. All right, that's 25th,
28th,
28th, the Thursday, right?
Thursday.
Okay. What about yard waste days? I know there's some talk about
The
that.
yard waste days, it is advertised. You could put the bulletin board up on Route 202. And it's also been listed on the town website.
Okay.
And we did take more trees down. We were able to get some more trees down. So there is trees now out at the highway garage and West Street School. So if people want to go and start cutting up some more cordwood, they're more than welcome to come to those two sites.
So we're gonna open that up for cutting.
Well, we need to look at, because last time people were there, all these guidelines and rules weren't in place.
Yes, they were.
No, the 6 feet
Oh,
and
the 6 feet?
the COVID-19, all this stuff wasn't, when we put all those things together, this wasn't
Well, I
around.
don't think people go out there 6 feet together.
We get people gathering and stuff like that. So again, we got to remind people when, where they are and what they're doing,
Well, if we see them out there, I guess we can just stop and I'll have Jeremy stop and just remind them.
Yeah.
Or David and.
Could we make it by appointment? When you come to your way, find it out.
A lot of them have already signed their waivers that last round, and it was good for a year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's all good to, I just signed up 2 more people. Yeah, it's good to
I suppose,
December.
yeah. I mean, it's something we need to do because we need to take a
I
step.
can send them, we'll send them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, please be advised, or we can put a couple signs up, maintain 6-foot distancing or whatever.
Hey, Kevin, can you hear me?
Yeah, he's shaking his head.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see him shaking his head.
Sorry, I had to unmute, sorry.
So, all right. All
That's
right,
it for me.
that's it. Anything else? Jen, do you have anything? No?
No.
Jay, you have anything?
Yeah, I got a couple from the Energy Committee.
All right.
One thing is an MOU for money from Mass DOER through PVPC. Chris has got a copy of it. We can get up to $4,000. $1,500 would be to fill out our Green Community Grant application for FY 2021. Then another $2,500 to do our calendar year 2020 Green Community Annual Report. And Chris has got that. I mean, if anybody there wants to sign it, fine. Otherwise, if you want me to sign it and scan it and send it in, it's got to be into PVPC, signed, sealed, and delivered by no later than Thursday.
Okay.
So it's very time sensitive.
So you got that?
I got it, Jay,
So is
yes.
somebody's gonna sign it?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
And then the EV chargers at the new library. They have a date of be done by 17 August. The state's gonna give us $12,500 to put them in. It would cost the town about $4,600 because the state's paying the majority. As far as I know, Mass DEP is still planning on having us do it. If for some reason we're not gonna do it, we gotta let them know. But like I say, they're paying 2/3 of the cost.
But Jay, we couldn't do it because our buildings were closed to the public. I had talked to Sage about it and told her it was stagnated for a time being until we can reopen the buildings.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know
So
that.
that-
Well, there was an email that went between Lil and Sage on that you were CC'd on that was talked about.
Well, today has been a crazy day for me with the phone, and I haven't got up to everything.
So Jay, I mean,
Anybody
the
wants to
committee
know-
reckon,
Anybody wants to know how serious this COVID is? Today, the Veteran Cemetery had 27 requests. Just for today alone.
It's a pandemic. We do understand that.
I think that's the point Chris is making, that a lot of things are on hold, so, but your recommendation from the Energy Committee is that we just move forward, they're gonna pay 2/3 of the cost, right? And it's beneficial to have those at the library?
Yes, we either have to decide if we're gonna put it as an article for FY '21, or do we want to call Mass DEP and tell them that, hey, we know the contract we have, but we're unable to perform. I mean, that's what it comes down to me.
Yeah, so what you say it was gonna cost, like 4,800 for us to do it?
4,700 if I round it off.
Now, is that the town's portion, or is that?
That's the town's portion. The state's gonna pay 12,500.
Okay. And how many are there?
2,
Two?
and they'll both be open to the public. They won't be workstations like at the police department. They'll be open to the general public like at the
Right.
school.
The problem we have right now is we have to tunnel under the sidewalk to get into the panel box inside the library. We don't have a price for tunneling.
Yes, I do.
Oh.
There is no tunneling because we're gonna use the existing hole that was there for the auxiliary generator that was never installed.
Well, who says we're not gonna put a generator there at some point in the future?
Well, if that's what you wanna do, that's fine, but it hasn't been done yet.
Alright.
I mean, there is an existing hole not being used that they said they could use. And it'd be for electrical wiring, that's all it is. And
Mhm.
one Cat 6 cable.
Yeah. So like, kind of what Chris was saying anyways, a lot of stuff is on hold or a standstill right now, just based on what's going on in the country.
Right, but I'm just saying, we have a contract date to complete by 17 August of 2020. Is that something that we want to get extended? Because they're gonna be looking for, what have we done? Because our contract date will be up. I mean,
Well, I
I
think-
realize it's only May now.
I think we asked for an extension. And we
I can do that.
We can move forward after if we need to, but at least we get an extension on it, and I don't think that's unreasonable for everything that's going on.
Right.
And they would probably just sign off on it anyways.
But the Energy Committee didn't want to go through an extension without permission from the select board.
Well, I'm in favor of an extension.
Me as well.
Okay, I'll put it down. We'll request an extension and see how long she'll give us.
All right. Now it just gives us more time to look at the whole entire project and what needs to be done completely.
Right, we have the estimates for the equipment and the estimates for the labor to do it all. But
All right.
I'll reach out to Sage and see if we can get the program extended out and see what she says.
Okay.
That's the only two thing I have, because we're gonna sign, you guys to sign that MOU and then the EV chargers.
Right, I think the MOU here, we just gotta give authorization to Chris to sign it, that's all.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. No one's opposed to that, Chris signing off on it?
I have no problem.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anybody have anything else? Jen, Jay?
No, I just think we should probably move the bandwidth up of that, cable connection in that building.
Well, and all I can tell you right now, Jay, is that there's 3 people on it.
And it's working.
So, I mean, I know
Whoever's
that.
talking now, I can't.
So we definitely, something we can look into, but like I said, right now, there's 3 of us on there. There's, you know, Chris, Jen, and myself, so. All right. Anybody, no one has anything else? I'll entertain a motion to,
I will make a motion to adjourn.
is there a
I'll
second?
Second Jen's motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
One last question. Are we gonna be involved with the Memorial Day thing?
Oh, so we had talked about that earlier, Jay, and we did ask is that we have 1 representative from the select board. And I would be honored, Jay, if you would take that upon, take that up.
I'm gonna be quarantined, so I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Okay, all right. That's fine. I was just thinking, you being a veteran, I just wanted to, that's fine. So between Jen and I, we'll figure it out. We'll have to make sure we have representation there.
Okay. Based upon the information I've gotten from Dick Bombardier, I'm probably gonna be quarantined, he says.
All right. Okay. All right. So